All right, good morning, everybody. So welcome to day 2 of TradeThirsty's Morning Market Mixer Live. So we're going to be going live Monday to Thursday for the whole of March for TradeThirsty's March Madness. So it's going to be exciting. So I'm really excited to get going with this today. We're going to be doing a market overview and potentially a live trade if the market gives us the opportunity to in about 20 minutes from now. So like I said, we're going to be going live from Monday to Thursday for the whole of March. These sessions are completely free, and I'm excited to be with you guys for that time. So hopefully you guys can type into the chat, give us any input that you have into the markets, and we can kind of use this as a preparation for the day trading. So these, again, are free live sessions the whole of March, Monday through Thursday, and let's get going. So for you guys that missed it yesterday, my name is Russell Barbour. I'm going to be doing these sessions, and basically my story is pretty simple. It's kind of similar to a lot of people out there who've started trading. I started in 12 years ago trading the markets, and my wife and I were in a lot of student loan debt, and we basically quickly lost quite a bit of money chasing the market. Really stressful. Living in Seattle, we were basically trying to make extra money. I was a postdoc in physics, and it doesn't pay that much money. So we were definitely struggling for a long time. So just wanted to give you a brief introduction to me before we get started into the market overview for the day. So like I said, I spent years over trading, oversizing positions, and basically finding out that being right in the direction of the market wasn't just the key to success. There was a lot more to it you guys can probably relate to. And so there came a turning point in my trading where I became more consistent. This was like 10 years into my journey, so it wasn't an easy road at all. Basically, I started to trade 0 DTE options on SPY, of all things, and basically just trading one quality setup every day with defined entries, exit, and strict risk management. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well, and exactly what that involves. And so, yeah, my journey was 10 or 12 years in the making, but I managed to make consistent profits every day these days. So it's doing pretty well. I'm excited to share some of my simple strategies with you guys throughout the course of March. So today I'm going to be using some resources and tools. I'm going to be using TradingView. Hopefully you guys are familiar with TradingView charts. Really great platform. Really love it. It's my favorite out there. There really isn't anything else like it. So I'm going to be talking about some news and earnings. Use earningshub.com for that. So we'll be looking at that too. We're going to be looking at SPY levels, obviously, because the whole live session is all about the market and SPY. So we're going to be looking at SPY levels. There's a cheat sheet that I'm going to share with you in the chat in just a second here. It's basically an overview of 0 DTE trading, plus the strategy that I tend to use for 0 DTE trading in the mornings around 10 o'clock or so during these live sessions. So with that being said, here's the cheat sheet. So if you want to scan this QR code, it'll take you to tradethirsty.com/MMM. So I'm going to post that into the chat for you guys here as well. So I see somebody already scanned the QR code. I'm going to actually put the link here so you guys that don't use QR codes can actually find the link right there. So that should have been posted in chat. Say hello if you're in the chat, by the way. I'm always interested to know who's actually watching these. So definitely check it out. So we're going to go through the cheat sheet together in just a minute here. We're going to go through the levels, all the recent news in the market, and a lot more. So this will probably only take about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll start looking to see if there's any trades presenting themselves for a 0 DTE scalp, basically. So anyway, let's switch over to the cheat sheet. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to actually go and check it out. I'll start sharing it here as well so we can go through and check this out. So here we go. Here's the 0 DTE overview and intraday cheat sheet. For you guys that don't know, and I'm sure most of you do, but for completeness, we talk about 0 DTE standing for 0 days to expiration. So obviously these are contracts that expire on the same day that they're traded. So we're just doing short scalps on these trades. We're not looking for overnight swings or anything like that. These contracts, though, you have to be careful. They do lose value pretty quickly, and that's why I tend to keep the trades as short as possible. So we're looking at a few minutes max kind of thing on these trades, maybe an hour. Even then, it starts to get a little bit dicey. So These trades are fast trades. They have a really high win rate, about 80% win rate. And so they are fantastic. So I'm looking for things like breakout trades, volatility-based scalps. I'm mainly focusing today and in these live sessions on orb trades. So for you guys that don't know what that is, it's opening range breakout, and we'll be going through that in just a minute. We'll be marking up the charts, kind of going through everything to do with the orb strategy. So really nice strategy, and it's basically outlined below here a little bit on the cheat sheet. But basically, zero DTE is awesome because you can basically buy these contracts for pretty low cost, although premiums are inflated today significantly due to the high volatility with this whole war hanging over us. So the premiums today are going to be a little bit more expensive than they normally are. And so that's just something we have to kind of keep in mind going forward. So these do move fast. So these contracts, they do move fast, which means you can take losses pretty quickly. So just bear that in mind if you're trading today, that zero DTE stuff, like you could easily lose money pretty quickly on these. The nice thing is if you're not paying much for the contracts, it is very limited risk, which is really nice as well. So the cheapness does help with these things as well. So you have to be careful with your emotions. Zero DTE trading isn't for everybody. So that being said, let's have a look at the bottom part here, which is the preparation that I did this morning. We're going to actually add these all to the charts in real time in just a few minutes. The opening range breakout is what we're looking at. So the first 30-minute candle. So we're going to draw that up as well and look and see if we can get a retest of that candle to see if we can get a trade later. It's very difficult in these sessions to get trades within the time frame that we're allotted, so it's 20 to 30 minutes. But my hope is that going forward, this will give you some setup for maybe an hour from now. You'll see a retest or something, and you can actually take a trade based on some of this analysis. Very simple analysis that we're doing today in this live session. So we're going to look at the bias. We're going to try and figure out what we think the market's going to do. It's always really hard to do, but that's also part of this setup right here. And so down the bottom here, we just have like what we're going to do. So we're going to look for break and retest and continuations. That's my favorite setup by far. So hopefully you guys can grab this, go through it, make sure you're familiar with it, and let's go back to the slides here and keep going before the market moves away from us. All right, so last chance to get the QR code before I move on. I'll give you a couple of seconds to scan it. All right, I'll give you another link towards the end as well if you want to get it. Before we get started, quick SPY overview. So again, we're just trading the SPY in these sessions, or at least analyzing the SPY. And so for you guys, probably already know this, but it's an exchange traded fund, ETF. It tracks the S&P 500, which is 500 stocks across 11 sectors. I love trading SPY because it basically simplifies my trading down to one ticker, right? You don't have to scan for stocks. You don't have to go through all the work that's involved with trading individual stocks. So I love trading SPY because it tracks so many stocks all at once. It was the first ETF ever listed back in 1993, and it's number one in liquidity across all the ETFs globally traded. So quick overview on SPY. Let's keep going. So here's the agenda. So we're going to go through SPY ATM, which is a premium service that I run. I'm just going to recap what the trade was yesterday. We're going to go through overnight market news, any potential earnings, look at some data, any economic events that are coming up or happening right now, which there's a few. Market direction, so we're going to look at the opening range and the VWAP. We're going to look at intraday levels, mainly on SPY here. So key intraday levels. We're going to look at the volatility, current volatility, where it's going, what's going to happen, hopefully try and figure that out because it's kind of important. Look at max intraday moves using the expected move as well. And then at the end, if there's any trade opportunities, we'll go through, maybe I'll take a trade, we'll see. It depends on what presents itself to us. So like I mentioned here, this is the SPY ATM alert service that I run daily. So it actually comes out at 10:30 a.m. every day. Every single day, so 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. It's just a single trade, so that makes it really nice and simple, right? So it's not difficult to take this trade at all if you've got time around 10:30 Eastern time. So you can see that on the left here, this was the alert in our Discord channel from yesterday. It was labeled as a skip, so sometimes if it's a low probability, we'll label it as a skip just because we want to give the absolute highest quality trades to the members. And so that's why this warning up the top says skip low probability setup today. But I actually did take the trade anyway. And so you can see the key data is given of what you actually need. So the strike price is a 683 call. The entry price 217, take profit at 260. I actually call this 20% in 20 minutes because it's really like that's the average time it takes to get 20%. We're not going for 100% winners on these. And of course, these are 0 DTE trades. So on the right here, you can see what actually happened. I bought the calls at 10:30 Eastern time where the arrow points to that crazy candle. And there was a bit of a dip. So it did go down a little bit against this, but it didn't stop out, which was nice. And then it continued all the way up. And we sold these calls for plus 20%. This is a 1 minute chart, so you can kind of see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, but 16 or 17 minutes in the trade. So pretty nice trade. A lot of members made some money on that, so that was good. So again, this is every day at 10:30 Eastern time. And it's one of my favorite trading setups to take. So let's move on here a little bit. So let's start talking about the news and what's going on in the market and actually what happened overnight and this morning. So before I get into the details for what actually is actually happening now, I did want to remind you guys that we still are in a risk-off environment. So Friday was the PPI, and it just basically showed that inflation is still a big problem. So it led to a rapid sell-off in SPY and SPX, and it's basically like a really bad thing for the markets, right? So what was surprising is yesterday the markets did actually respond positively, but unfortunately they're down again today. So we'll go through some of that. So basically AI concerns are also still weighing on tech and growth stocks. So we've got, this is a horrible environment when you think about it. We have inflation, we have AI concerns causing problems. And this morning we actually had the largest daily drop in over a year as the Iran war is starting to escalate a little bit more. So Friday it was inflation, great. And now it's the Iran war over the weekend, and it's continuing into today as well. So that's not the best thing for the market whatsoever. And so what's interesting though is as the war goes on, you start to see with wars, you tend to see like a volatility spike, and then it tends to settle down to actually being very, very low volatility. That's what's always historically happened. So the difference here is we don't know how long this is going to last, right? This could be a brief conflict where it's every day we're getting missiles coming in from Israel or somewhere and having lots of problems and causing volatility spikes every day. We just don't know. So it's very hard to know how these conflicts are going to affect the market. But at the moment, VIX is up pretty badly. It's up, I think, 17% on the day. So looking really, really volatile out there this morning. Jolts actually came out as well. So I think it came out at 10 as we're starting here. I haven't checked the market yet. We're going to switch over to look at charts in just a minute here. So we'll see if Jolts actually did anything to the market. So we're going to see how that affects things. Again, there's another speaker as well. Federal Speaker Williams started as well, so that's probably affecting the market. That's why I wait until after about 10, because you usually get all these things happening around 9:45 to 10. So I try and wait until basically things have settled down a little bit, because it's a nightmare if you're trading 0 DTE and you get these things going against you. So you've got to be really, really careful here. So on another note, JP Morgan actually warned that the markets might be too complacent. And that's what I was thinking yesterday. When I saw the bullish price action yesterday, I'm like, people are just shaking off inflation and all the geopolitical nonsense that's going on. And so that was reiterated by Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, who's warning that there's basically complacency in the markets. And I think we're starting to see that today with the large gap down in the markets. On the earnings side of things, there's really no earnings worth talking about at the moment. So if we go over to earnings hub here, have a look at the earnings situation for this week. So for Tuesday here, we did have Target at the market open. It was mixed, so nothing too significant really happened with Target. And there's really nothing else here. None of the Magnificent Seven are reporting or anything like that. So we're not too worried about that all week. So it's just all these other different companies. like Costco and things. So really nothing too dramatic for influencing the market with the earnings. So that's pretty good news, right? It's keeps things a little bit simpler. So let's talk about market direction. So this is where we start to get into some details here with the charts. So this morning I was looking through the market here, and it looks like we've gone down below the 50 SMA and also the 100 SMA as well. Again, this signals basically risk-off environment, which is not good if you're bullish. So this isn't looking good at all. So the VIX hit 27 pre-market. It's almost back up to that now. So currently up 17% on VIX, which is very significant. It's leading to some premiums being really inflated. So let's go and look at the chart for SPY and go from there. So here on the daily, so daily chart SPY here. And you can see yesterday's price action was interesting because we did gap down, but then we had this really bullish run all day. It was a really bullish trend day, which was really nice for people that actually got the direction right. But what was interesting below the 50, so the 50 SMA is the green line, and the orange line is the 100 SMA. So you can see we gapped down below both of them yesterday and then just ran all the way up. So this probably got a lot of people thinking, oh, okay, we've held support. So there's this support level around 675 to 676. So all the way back here, you see this nice line from these wicks and these candles. And so I think that probably fooled a lot of people yesterday thinking, okay, we're actually pretty bullish again. We've regained the 100 SMA and we almost regained the 50 SMA as well. So it was looking pretty good yesterday. Unfortunately, with this conflict in Iran, we basically had this massive gap down this morning, and you can see we're actually still going down here. So it looks like it's a bearish trend day for the day. So we're still heading down here. So if we drop to the 30-minute chart here on SPY and get rid of the S, so we don't need those. I'll hover over here. We put on VWAP here. So not surprisingly, we're currently below VWAP on the 30-minute, like here. Zoom in, try and get rid of this. Sorry, just like zoom in here. So two 30-minute candles here, both are red. So it's looking like a bearish day for sure. And we can check to see if it's going to be a top. It looks like we have a breakout on the downside here. So what I usually do is mark up the top of the 30-minute. So this first 30-minute candle is getting marked with the line right here. And then the bottom gets marked as well. So this is just the classic orb strategy. So basically marking the 30-minute range, the orb, like this. So you can immediately see here we've got an immediate breakdown of the first 30-minute candle. So this again signals significant bearishness on the day. So that's the orb. So that's the 30 minutes. Let's mark up the expected move as well. So let's go back to the slides really quickly here. I actually marked them up this morning. So we go here. So just before the market opened here, well, not opened, before I went live on this live stream, I marked up the opening range and also the expected move based on the straddle at the money straddle for 0 DTE contracts for the day. So you can see 669 to 681 is the expected move today. So I like to mark those up on the chart as well because it gives us some more clarity on the potential direction of the market. So let's go and mark those on the chart as well. See, you can share this tab. There we go. All right, hopefully you can see the chart again here. So let's mark up the expected move. Let me just check the numbers again. So the expected move, which by the way, if you guys don't know, I'm sure a lot of you do, but if you don't know, it's the range that the market's expected to stay in about 70% of the time for the day. So it gives you an idea where the market might move for the day. So 669 and 680 roughly. 669. So let's mark 669 because it looks like we're heading down there, right? 669. So about there. And then let's mark up the top of the range, the expected move. So 680, right? Up here. I don't think play today, but it might. You never know, we get a reversal. So that's the expected move. Let's just zoom out so you can see that a little bit. Let me just check the upper range again here. So 681 almost. Just move it up a little bit. 0.7. There we go. All right, so we have a break on the 30-minute. We have the expected move, which is quite large for the day. I look at is what is the percentage for the orb range and what is the expected move percentage, because this gives us an idea of whether it's likely to be a trend day or not. And what's interesting is the orb today is it's 0.7%. So the difference between this line and this line of the 30-minute candle is 0.7% of SPY. So anything between 0.6 and 0.8 is basically a tight range, which is surprising to me because of the volatility. So it's quite surprising, but that suggests a trend day. So the fact that we're going down here and breaking the bottom of it, and it's kind of indicating that we could have a trend day here, reinforces this idea that this could be a bearish trend day. Now, what I like to do is then drop down to the 5-minute chart. So let's go and have a look at the 5-minute. So here you can see the picture on the 5-minute SPY chart. So obviously we're below VWAP. That's absolutely no surprise, right? Given how bearish we are. We did break down nicely through the bottom of the orb here. So this would be an opening range breakout. It looks like we're a little bit late to the party though. So what I'm looking for now is a move back up to the bottom of the and a retest of that and a rejection. So that would be like the next step, because I don't really want to chase here, especially given that the expected move is actually coming up. The lower end of the expected move is coming up here pretty quickly. So yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. So at the moment, it looks like a trade would be quite difficult based on the opening range and based on the expected move, because we're right between these two lines, which makes it pretty difficult. I have another trick up my sleeve though that I use, which is a system called SRX that we use. So this is a intraday level system, and so this is a premium product, and basically it is used to put on intraday levels that are based on options data. So it's a pretty cool system. So I thought I'd add it here. It might make the charts look a little complicated, which I don't like. Here it is right here, other than it looks. So you can see that we've broken down through the blue lines, the blue zones. Those are areas of support. So it's looking like we're breaking down through a lot of those. You can see that we are hovering around this level right here. So it's interesting that the bottom of the orb actually corresponds to, or closely to, one of these lines right here. This bottom line here also makes me a little bit more tentative about entering a bearish trade, because these lines are generally well respected. And like earlier, you can see this wick actually respected this line really nicely. And this wick is actually holding on this support line as well. So that makes me a little bit tentative about going short anytime soon on this. So again, I'd be looking for a retest of the bottom of the opening range in order to get a trade. So let's give it a few minutes, see if we get a pull up, back up to the bottom of the orb where we had this breakout. Because there's no way I'm going short at this point, just because it's so close to one of my key intraday levels. So I see a question in the chat. I'll just take a second to answer that. Randy is saying, what time do you price the straddle for the expected move? So I'm trying to do it as close as possible to when we go live, because obviously the expected move changes as time goes on. You don't want to do it right at market open because you've got the crazy volatility, and you're going to get a much larger expected move than is actually useful. So you've got to do this close to when you're planning to trade. So close to 10 o'clock. It'll be off slightly, but all these levels are just rough guides, right? They're actually more like zones. So yeah, so be interesting. So at the moment, I'm not looking to take a trade. It is still looking bearish, but I'm a little bit nervous because it's 669.45. We do have another support line right there, which is almost corresponding with the expected move that I calculated before we went live here. So it's definitely a warning sign that we might see a reversal here. So just keep that in mind. So let's go back to the slides really quick here, make sure I'm covering everything. Yeah, so that's what I marked up, the expected move and the opening range. We're below VWAP, and VIX was at 26 when I did this. It's actually now, wow, it's this is getting into much more worrying territory for me at least. I mean, look at this. We have VIX. Try and move this so you guys can actually see it. VIX has just gone straight up as the market sold off, which is what you'd expect. But now we're at 28. So VIX is at 28, which beats the pre-market as well. So 28 on VIX, I mean, that's pretty fearful. Like, that's starting to be like getting up towards 30. When you get above 30, that's like pure panic. That's where things go crazy and people start looking at VIX puts. As VIX tends to spike and then go back down, you get a mean reversion on VIX quite a lot. But with this war, is probably what's driving VIX up here. But getting to 30 is going to be something else. That'll be a change in sentiment from slightly fearful, a little bit anxious, to like, oh my God, the market's going to go crazy. So this to me is also kind of a warning sign for me, at least, that I probably don't want to be trading today. Just my personal preference. I probably want to sit out and wait for things to calm down a little bit. So that, combined with the fact that we're matching these levels on SPY here with the expected move, and also if we go back to the chart here, we're still actually continuing down. So the hour breakout would have actually a nice play here. Unfortunately, with the live stream, it's hard to time a trade, but we are heading down towards the expected move and also this key intraday level at 669.45. Looks like it wicked into it there on the 5-minute chart and is kind of holding it. So it'll be interesting to see if it's fully respected. Anyway, that's basically all I've got for today. Let's go back to the slides here, and I just want to remind you guys about a couple of things. So we kind of go here. And so this is going to be all month, and I'm really excited for people to have their input. Let us know what market news you're seeing. So type that into the chat. Let us know your thoughts on the market direction. This is about everybody sharing their information and trying to actually figure out what the market's doing. So like I said, this is going to be Monday through Thursday. I'll try and figure out everything we need to talk about, any relevant market news, any key levels, kind of go through everything you need. If you want, I can put the QR code. I think it's down the bottom there, but I can also put it up here. I think if we click here, actually show it on the screen. There we go. So that's the cheat sheet I was talking about earlier. You can also go to tradethirsty.com/MMM. Again, I'll post that in the chat for anybody that missed it this morning. Oh, it's already been posted. So that's good. Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. Let's go back and look at the charts one last time, and then we'll call it a day. So hopefully it gives you guys a good idea here. You can see if I share the chart again on SPY, we have respected the level here. Let me just turn off the QR code so you can actually see it. All right. So yeah, so we're actually at like that level right there, which is what makes this a very difficult time to take a trade. So I think that's something to watch, though, of whether we actually respect the expected move and get a mean reversion after I finish the live stream here. So it could be something to watch, maybe up to retest the orb here. So yeah, it looks like we're respecting that level. at least on this first minute, on this first 5-minute candle. So anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today. Hopefully it's helpful. You guys can join me tomorrow. So I'll be going live at the same time tomorrow, and hopefully we'll actually be able to time an entry for a trade, although I can't promise anything because it's very difficult to actually get a trade. So again, check out the sheet, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.